Patches displayed allegiances to particular clubs, and a change of clothes carried in an all-nighter bag was essential. As the scene grew, people were prepared to travel vast distances to listen and dance to rare soul music.
You need to look right for the part of being a Northern Souler. You'd wear your short-sleeve shirts, very neatly ironed, very pristine. I'd have Spencer's soul bags, 21-inch bottoms, specifically asking your mother to sew the hem up to half an inch above your ankle. You'd have your white socks on, and then your moccasin shoes or your brogues. Polished soles, and you just look absolutely fantastic.
So no, it was a real mix of clothes, but they had to be loose around the genitalia for the gentleman to dance.
The actual bagginess of the trousers, the 21-inch bottoms, created a momentum, a flow, if you like, when you were dancing. So as you span, the whole of your trousers just came out into this impressive loop. And then in high kicks and then backdrops, it created flow.
I think it just needed to pad out with some really special music. And Radio 1 wouldn't touch it with a barge pole, as radio was very much in its infancy anyway in the UK back then. So there was really nowhere to hear it. So I think it was a hunger, really. It was a rebellious hunger for something good, and I think we found it. In the north, though, there was an awful lot of what I call obscura soul being played in regular youth clubs. So I was exposed, even in the late 60s, to records that had never made the charts.
Northern people still wanted to hear, I love you, I hate you, come back, go away. That's all they wanted. Didn't want anything else, and they were prepared to pay for that, just as long as the singer was giving it them with passion and giving it with them so that they could stand up and be counted. And that's all Northern Soul was, it was passion.
As the music became more important, the DJs reached an almost iconic status. But the likes of Colin Curtis, Richard Serling and Ian Levine were by no means alone. Rare records were covered up by rival DJs wanting to keep their sets exclusive, and a massive trade in rare soul sprang up all over the country. Even today, prices commanded can be enormous. Frank Wilson's legendary single, Do I Love You, recently changed hands for a reputed £35,000. It's one of the rarest records in the world.
The DJs used to disappear to America, find the most obscure tracks, always a fast beat, always something with a break in it or something, and then they would come back and basically use it as a white label, of which no one knew the track name or artist for quite some time.
Without anybody to find them, some of these records, like the Frank Wilson record, would have just disappeared without trace. Yeah, they became cult favourites because of the appreciation by the crowd. But the crowd wouldn't have got to appreciate them if DJs and people like myself hadn't gone out to find them in America first. Someone had to locate and discover these records to bring them to the crowd. The crowd had to appreciate them for the scene to grow. So it's a spider's web where it's like finite threads all linking together. One wouldn't have happened without the other. It's a unique phenomenon that many different contributing factors made Northern Soul happen between them.
Some DJ somewhere in the country decided to turn the record over and found an audience and an ear for the B-side that was far more enjoyable than it was for the A-side. So consequently, the A-sides were smaller in stature than the B-sides. So that actually caught a lot of artists out when they came over here, that they thought they were coming to perform the A-sides, the songs that they had put out, hoping that they would be hits, only to get here to realize that it was the B-side of the record that was a hit.
I've seen artists come on stage in the last 10 years and just be absolutely gobsmacked at the amount of people that know their records that they've forgotten the lyrics to.
There were some artists from the States like Edwin Starr, Major Lance, J.J. Barnes, who were terrific. They were undervalued in America. Edwin Starr in particular had many, many great songs, A-sides, B-sides, album tracks. He had made so many good records. And although he'd had a lot of success with Motown, I think that he was always running behind Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and I think he would admit to that. But he not only is a fantastic performer, but he made some absolutely unbelievable records. And as I say, there are some artists who, for whatever reason, are just perfect for the north of England, and I would put Edwin Starr at the top of that pile.
When I arrived at the Mojo Club for my first gig, typically it was raining at the time. And I saw all these people standing on the steps, and I said to the guy that was driving me, I said, what are those people doing? And he said, they're waiting to see you. And I couldn't believe it. In the rain, they were standing there waiting to see me.
When the flirtations turn up, people are saying that you can see them trying to see if we really are the original flirtations. And yes, we are the original flirtations. Sometimes we have good days and sometimes we have bad days, but we are.
I saw these lines and lines of kids outside, and I just couldn't believe that this was the kind of place they wanted to go to have fun, because I didn't know what was happening until I went in and I found out through people that it was a place where they recognized and were dedicated to the older music of the 60s. So I felt more comfortable when they told me that, because I felt, well, at least I know I'm somewhere where people are going to identify with my music, identify with me. And it was, it turned out to be one of the most fantastic nights I've ever had.
I thank Northern Soul so much for embracing us as a people, as an artist, as we are, just to keep us alive and keep that thing alive and make us feel good about what we did and what we're still doing.
I was living down in London, and me and my friend Mick Smith, who was a DJ, used to go down Portobello Road and look for rare old singles. And we were in a record shop and came across a Tony Blackburn.